Round two. Let's try to get this internet connection moving up. You know, I've got to actually figure this one out, because at our office, we deal with a whole bunch of just firewall, how would you want to say it? Because we're dealing with so many people's like important information, we've got to be pretty diligent on just the protection of that. And even this building, like I'm trying to remember what their issue was, but the internet's not like phenomenal, especially for the streaming stuff. So I got to figure out a solution to that. I don't know if it's set up and do live at home. I definitely don't want to do a satellite office. That'd be ridiculous. But let's see if this helps. Give me a thumbs up if everybody can hear me. We're having issues with the audio on the last one. Ryan, what's up, legend? Camera clear as day. Yeah, we've got the camera going on. Give me a thumbs up or text, comment if you guys can hear me. We were having issues with the audio on the last one. Sweet Chill's giving me damn frozen. Is he frozen or just me? Gosh darn it, we're having issues with it. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, he is frozen. Live and clear, thumbs up. Let me know if I'm glitchy for anybody else. Working fine. Okay, sounds like we're getting better. Okay, thumbs up, here we go. Mike, we need you, don't freeze up now. Is it worth buying a new car from a dealership or a used one from a private owner? Okay, I just posted something on my YouTube. I did a whole video on lease versus buying 2023. 10-minute video going over different scenarios and what I think is the best option. I posted a short version of it. Let me see if this is, who else is frozen? Everything frozen. Dang, that's frustrating. You know what we're gonna do? This is how we're gonna solve it. We're gonna end the Insta. This is what we're gonna do. Man, that's so frustrating. I've got to solve this one. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're going Insta on here. Let's go live. Wow, isn't that annoying? All right, let's see if this is gonna work. Let's see if this is any better. I'm gonna do it from the phone on this one, if you guys can hear me. Everybody, YouTube, Facebook, I'll keep this one going, but I just wanna see if this is any better. Let's see when everybody jumps in. I've gotta solve this issue. This is annoying. You know what I should do? I should pop up TikTok while I'm at it. All right, let me know if this is any better. I still am doing the streaming for YouTube and Facebook, but let me know if this is any better. And if so, we'll run this on the phone. Is this better? Am I live now? Am I frozen? Yeah? Okay, sounds like we got it going on. Okay, there we go. We've got, this one sounds better. Okay, we'll keep going on this one, and I'll keep the YouTube stream and Facebook stream going. Okay, so basically, I just posted this video on lease versus buy. If you buy and sell it at year 3, or if you lease and then hit your buyback. And then I also did the version where you trade it in. And then I gave kind of my thoughts on it, what I think is best. I mean, people are going hard on me. You left all this out. Hard on me. You left all this out. What happens if you buy it back? This is a 45-second video of a portion of the full video. So tomorrow's video, I'm gonna show both options. If you wanna go check it out on my YouTube, you can get the whole picture. But to answer the question that was given prior, is it better to buy brand new from a dealership or buy from a private party? My view on that, if you're gonna buy a car, I actually think it's better to buy it years out, 2 to 3 years out, and let the majority of the depreciation go away. You lose so much value the first 3 years, and you can make the argument that the car is the most from a private party. But I also said in the lease video, in the full YouTube, is if you're somebody who goes through cars every 5 years, right? You buy them and sell them every 5 years. I actually don't know if it makes sense to buy. I actually could see that being a good argument to just lease, even though it's not the best financial move. I think that's actually a good scenario to do. Mikey, I had a friend who runs an IT consulting business email you. They could help you with your personal IT issues as well. He designs advanced computers. Zach, thank you. Please have him email me. I appreciate that. Fresh Tesla. So, I buy new, no more old for me. I like warranty. Yeah, that my first daughter. My wife was, she wasn't with the Civics anymore. She was like, you're not putting, our daughter in that car. She felt like it was so unsafe. It was a 92 Civic hatchback. And she was also like, you probably need to think about having a car that's a little bit more presentable, You guys are out raising money for, this was St. Archer. So you guys are out raising money for St. Archer. You're pulling up in this thing. It just looks, I don't know. She felt like it didn't look right and it wasn't safe. So I bought a Toyota Prius. And I know a lot of people clown on Toyota Prius, but whatever. I thought it was a rad car. I drove that thing everywhere. We had St. Archer at this point, so I was driving down to San Diego every week. How much did I pay for it? 23 grand, maybe? I financed it, I paid it off, and then I owned it for multiple years after the financing. I think that's the best option. I think getting to a point where you have no car payment, you have extra money to put towards investments, retirement, etc. So I think that's actually smart. I didn't buy my first expensive car until, I don't know, 4 years ago or so. I waited and waited and waited. I wanted to build as much wealth as possible. I think there's here's the holy grail, right? Is build your portfolio to the point where you're earning so much money that you're not working for, and then use that money to buy all these things. Buying the nice cars in the beginning, you're basically making the choice that you'd rather have the car and that you're going to work longer and work harder. Well, that you're going to work harder and probably work longer in your life till you get to the point of being able to choose. I think that's the trade-off. So, I still have one. My wife is over it. She doesn't want me using it anymore, or she doesn't want me keeping this thing. I still have one. The one that you remember was I had a daily driver. It was the white Civic hatchback. That's the one I'm talking about. But I also had a Civic that I bought. It was a rolling chassis. There was nothing in it. And I built the entire thing from scratch. That was a project car. I still have that one. My wife wants me to get rid of it. I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to. There's so much sentimental value in that thing. All right. Still a goat. I appreciate you, legend. I got my, okay. Skip that comment. Fresh Tesla, all right. Minefield 14 years ago. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes people will time frame. I was with it, dude. I know people talk crap on it, but I liked it. Mikey, I want to work for you. What can I do? Pretty soon we're going to be, at least we're planning on hiring more people. We hired everyone we're going to hire for this year. Next year, if I'm remembering right, I think our projections are to probably seeing our debt increase. He's seeing our interest rates increase on the debt we have to pay back. He's seeing the job market, it slowed a little bit. Inflation wants me to pursue my own career in design. Any advice? That's a good one. I would say, why do you want to, the right skills and the right, how would I say this? Determination and resilience in them, and also teach them that they can go out and accomplish whatever they want without giving them, without pushing the work ethic on them, or without them feeling like they always have our assets or budget for the kids when it comes to their clothing and toys, etc. And so my wife went to shopping with the kids and basically said, okay, here's our budget for what you get this month. And my oldest daughter looked at my wife and she's like, are we poor? What do you mean we can't buy these things? And that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. I want my kids to understand that you're on your own. And then if you enjoy it and you know what you're doing, then kind of circle back and have the conversation with your dad about you getting involved. But I wouldn't jump straight into it personally. I think you'll end up in a better scenario by going on your own. Mr. 69th himself. You know what's interesting? I ran that. I put it in ChatGPT again this morning. I wasn't even on the list. And it had crazy people on the list that, shouldn't be. Like, just strange ones. Love you. Thank you. 6'6" Rider. Thank you. Love you, Mikey. I appreciate you, legend. Robbie, what's going on? Also, big fan of the skating too. Been a fan for years. Deverino, thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Are you guys investing in Dallas for? Our whole new fund is only California. Dallas is. It's interesting because there's elements to Dallas that I think are good. That it's just easy to build, but that's kind of why we're investing in California, because it's difficult. And because it's difficult, there's so many investors that won't invest here, but because there's still such a high demand, we're so off-weighted with supply and demand that we're like going in on the most undersupplied markets, which typically are the most difficult to build in. That's where we're building. I just like the idea of feeling very, very confident that there's going to be demand for our apartments for a long, long time. And I think California in some regards is very anti-tenant. Why? Because they make it so difficult for anyone to invest here that it ends up driving the price up for anyone who owns. It keeps our competition out, and then it makes the experience worse for the tenant, drives the price up for the tenant, gives them less options. California is in the business of making real estate investors very wealthy. And what you're seeing right now with just the cost of housing, I don't know, it doesn't seem like California's pro-tenant. Everything they do makes it more expensive for them. So it's just interesting. I think pro-tenant actually is somebody was using it as an Airbnb. We purchased it, we scraped it, and we were basically starting development 3 weeks later. It was a fast one. We had basically all of our financing lined up. We were ready to go. So that project is in the middle of construction. It's early though. We just closed on that thing, how long ago? 2 months ago? And then we have one in Mar Vista that's further along. The Mar Vista one is supposed to be complete, April, May of next year. That one's starting to look sick. And then we have a handful of closings coming up. Ventura, we're really kind of going in on. Ventura County is the most, so I don't know. I think back to St. Archer, when we are raising more and more and more every year, we'll sell every single drop every year. That's the issue in California. It's not just California, there's some other states, but California, I think, is the worst. So that's why we're investing here. It's interesting when you think of it that way though, isn't it? Hoping to get your advice on something, invest in your own portfolio. I think that's where your attention goes. If you're somebody who is putting your energy towards something else, right? You have a career and that career is your greatest opportunity for making money, and you don't want to dilute the opportunity of making money towards learning and investing in real estate, I think that's when you invest passively. I think that's when you invest with groups like us, where we have an entire team that's dedicated passive opportunity like ours in a different asset class, right? If you're only a multifamily developer, only a multifamily investor, and you want some exposure to storage, I think then it makes sense to invest with another group just for diversification purposes. But I think that's the question you ask yourself. Do you want to build out your portfolio? And is that where you want your attention to go? If the answer is yes, I would just do that. What do you think about commercial mortgage after more than multifamily cap rates in California? Do you now do these without debt? What do you think about commercial mortgage? I think there's a big risk there. What we do on the development side is we do basically mini perm debt. We do our construction loan into our permanent financing. It's typically 10-year to all the way up to 25-year debt. And so we just basically try to remove the refi risk. But cap rates have moved in California, actually. They have softened a little bit, but more expensive. But doing the mini perm debt, this is the thing to remember. You have to put so much more equity down. You're putting, Thank you. I appreciate you, legend. Thoughts on Raven? They acquire existing apartment buildings and convert them to net zero. I'd have to look into them. I haven't paid attention to know really what they're doing, what their returns are, how they're going about it. So let me do some research and then I'll get back to you on that one. You look at the 20 families, to even get in with them, it's like a $25 million net worth and up. And they want basically core assets. They don't care about the return. They almost want like a bond alternative. That is at play for the monsters, the big players. For anyone else, though, we want return. We want more return than a 6% yield on a real estate project. So if you're doing construction with no debt, you're basically looking at yield on cost, right? Instead of the current cap rate, you're looking at. My thoughts on personal finance is it's incredibly important. I think, sometimes this is one I think about a lot. When we look at like an example of wealth, right? Somebody making money. We don't usually see a good example of them making money or investing it. We see an example of them spending it, right? And it's actually not them making money. That's not an example of wealth building. It's just spending. Or life is all about money. I'm greedy. I think that's not accurate at all. I don't think money is anything special. I think it's a tool. And I think it's a tool that we all need to learn and use. And so, I want to use it well. And that comes down to personal finance. That's how much of your money you save, how much of your money you invest, and how good you are at sticking to that strategy. So I think it's incredibly important. The investing stuff is fun, but you don't see any of it, right? It's like when we put money into investments, like even when I'm making a return, I'm trying to get that return back into investments. Like investing it's boring as could be. That's the cool part about it, to, somewhere around the 10%. But I think it's important. I think that's the cool thing about money, right? That's the cool thing about us, like becoming wealthier, making money. Like you can help so many more people. Like, and that's the thing, like sometimes when we talk about like capitalism and everybody goes in on like capitalism is just a form of greed. And like the reality in my perspective is that, this is not even my perspective. This is just the reality of it. The capitalistic structure, not perfect, but it has brought more people out of poverty than anything else in the world. Like when you look at the amount of money that America gives, the charitable aspect of it, it's through the roof. People, we're gonna play golf. The charity is, there's a girl, her name's Rihanna, and her partner's name is Nikki. They run a salon called 907. They're the largest salon in Los Angeles. They basically do everybody's hair, all of the stars. And they have a charity called the Beautiful Foundation. And what they do is when somebody comes in to cut their hair, they donate a private club. You get to see people that are kind of in my circle, in my network, and the money goes to a good cause. So anyone who wants to come out to that, come see us. I'll put it on my link tree so you can get the information for it. It's September 25th. It's going to be epic. I'm thinking about, actually, I don't have a team yet. Maybe I'll open up a spot or two for you guys to play with me. All right, somebody tips on one trying to learn more about tax deductions. I'm a steel framer starting out and would love some guidance so I don't pay more money than I have to. Maybe 20K less. What I would say is, the professor, I would read the book. Always done it. This is how I go about business. This is how I kind of go about life. I want to understand everything from kind of the macro perspective, and then I want to hire or bring the person into my team that's an expert in the actual weeds, in the micro. And so I have basically, when I'm going through something like the Augusta rule, right? Or even like the Humvee credit on my car, right? You get a car that's over 6,000 pounds that you're going to use for your business. You get to basically, accelerate the depreciation. I call my tax strategist. Hey, this is what I want to do. I'm buying it in California. What are the things that we need to be mindful of? And can you structure this for me so it'll work? Same with the Augusta rule, all these kind of cool options that you have. Save as much money as possible, invest, etc. And I treat our business the same way. Like, I know how to underwrite deals. I'm not going to underwrite our deals though. Like that's not my expertise. I am not an operator, so all of those kind of lanes when it comes to business, I'm bringing those in. I'm going to be very, very held back, and there's going to be a ceiling that's very, very short if I'm the one doing everything. Mikey, would you ever expand with someone from another state that's doing a similar project? Yes. So we work with what we call merging managers or group multifamily. Right now, we should probably be talking about next year. We have deals right now where we can't raise capital fast enough. We're in kind of this. We're in a crazy one where we're trying to go after everything we can. I think this is a very unique moment. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are missing it. They're on the sidelines because they're listening to the people who have no clue what's going on. We're full. We're having to say no to good projects. So this year is going to be spent raising capital to close on the deals we have. And then let's at least start for maybe Q1, Q2 of next year. But yes, we will do that. Earn is if we were to come in and partner on a deal, just invest. It's going to trigger the software and it's going to get all your information, your name, your email, your number, etc. And then someone from my team is going to reach out to you. You'll get an email and Tawny or Nolan is going to give you a call. From there, you can set up a time to talk to us to see if what we're doing fits. If it's Mikey, add me on the video so we can talk about it. Okay, you guys want to hear what FL Wood's doing? Let's see what he's doing. And the other is not. And then what you have is there's typically one who spends more, etc. This is what I would recommend from happening, because a lot of times where we end up fighting is when we don't know where our money's going and we look and it's all gone and you're stressing out, you're blaming the other person for spending too much money. You guys both need to be on track with what's going on. Something that's been huge for Jen and I is talking about our goals together, right? Like even big picture ones, things that are 10 years out. It's been really helpful for us to go over that together. That's been massive for us. If somebody is not areas where we overspent, I'm not blowing up on her. I know that if I get emotional, we lose any shot at improving at all. So I need to be really mindful on my end that that's the case. So for you, if you have one of the partners is money's emotional, you need to be the one that sets the tone, right? You're going to have to be kind of the alpha in this position, in this position. And then basically we track it. Like I think like mint.com is good. It's not ideal, but it's good. That's what we use. And we get our alerts, right? I have my credit card alerts that every time I purchase something, ding, comes up on my phone. Anytime Jen does as well. So it's good accountability. But make it a priority. If it's your wife or your husband, tell them that happens right when your wire or check comes in. You pull, I call it 20%. Pull 20%, goes into another account. You don't touch it. First thing goes there. Let that build and then use that to buy the house. For the money you're saving to buy the house, don't invest it. Somebody will lend us the money. I don't know. For me, like I never wanted to be house poor. All of my money going towards owning the house and not being able to do anything else. But that's something you're going to have to make the decision on what's best for you. So how long has it been since you've been in Las Vegas? When was I in Vegas last? Probably a year. I think it's been about a year since I've been out there. Good word on budgeting. It's huge. It's really important. Look, when I went through this whole thing at 19 years old, right? Got my mentor, financial advisor. We started building the plan. I was excited because I thought we were going to talk about investing. The time I tried to get my first house, I had no credit. I had zero credit. And so I was like, how the heck do I get credit? Like, nobody will give me a credit card because I don't have credit. I make money. I don't have bad credit. It was annoying. So if you're young, you don't have credit yet, have your parents put you as an authorized user on their card. Love your advice on first-time home buying and saving for a house. I'm doing exactly that. Oil slick, let's go. I can't comfortable with that. And so one thing they wanted me to do was get help financially, even though I was making no money. Like I was making, what was I making? $500 a month from Santa Cruz. And I think I was making like $300 a month from like Duff's. I think that was my first thing, that $800 a month. My mom's like, you need a financial advisor. I'm like, Mom, I don't even know if I'm making enough to pay taxes, you know? That was huge for me though. So he mentored me. He was, you know, it's funny, like he was a financial advisor. He's a financial advisor, but he owns his business and he's very entrepreneurial. And he was financially free as well. Like that was huge. When we started St. Archer, we had the idea, none of us knew how to do that. And so I called Randy. Randy, how do we start a business? Me, Josh, and Paul sat in his office, pitched him on the idea, and basically said, how do we do this? He was the one that said, you need a business plan. We didn't know how to do that. So he helped us build our business plan. In that business plan, we realized we didn't have enough money to start the company. He was the one that helped us basically get everything in order to raise capital and then kind of taught us how to raise money. He's been massive for me. So that was a huge one. That was a huge one that he came into my life, changed everything for me. And honestly, that's everything for me. And honestly, that's, to bring it full circle, this was the big reason why